On the mistral sands beneath the serpent stream, the elements rise and amalgamate with supreme. With valor and honor and might and splendor, the circle did beckon a lonesome old traveler. A flash of light and souls did gather to welcome old sage to the heart of the creator. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Diablo 3 In-Depth, a series where we discover all the hidden secrets about the game and unravel new ways to enhance your experience. In this video, we'll be looking at Monk's Inner Sanctuary, a defensive skill that is full of surprises. So without further ado, let's begin. Inner Sanctuary is Monk's primary skill for defensive purposes that cost no resource and offer the highest protection in game. Once activated, the skill creates a circle of protection in a radius of 11 yards lasting for 6 seconds. Monk and any of his allies standing in this circle receive a whopping 55% damage reduction and are affected by certain buffs depending on the runes. This circle, however, is passable by enemies but can apply certain debuffs to them if appropriate runes are used. After the duration of 6 seconds, the circle fades away and a cooldown of 20 seconds is initiated. This cooldown can indeed be reduced by items and passives and allow this best damage reduction skill in the game to be used at shorter intervals. So for a skill that offers such high damage reduction at base levels, what more can runes do for it? Well, let's find out. The first rune for Inner Sanctuary is Sanctified Ground that increases the duration of circle to 8 seconds and further creates an impassable barrier that keeps enemies at bay. Any enemy right next to Monk will be knocked out of the circle upon casting and will be forced to stay away for the next 8 seconds. Do remember that projectiles can still hit monks, and enemies such as Mallet Lords have high enough melee range to hit monks when he stands in it, so place yourself accordingly. With all this said, the skill combined with this rune is by far the best source of damage reduction in the game. If you wish to see how effective this can be in a build, please look for my Monk Belt build for T6 on this channel. Next up is Safe Haven. This skill provides additional health regeneration to Monk and his allies that can be increased by stacking more life per second. 30% of max life per second is added to this rune, which makes monks into a healing fountain. This skill is useful in scenarios where a player uses a chunk of their HP with every hit. So a character like a wizard or a crusader benefits most from this, as it lets them regenerate quickly and dish out heavy damage. The third rune in form of Temple of Protection lets Monk and his allies become immune to control impairing effects. So ground effects like freeze, jailer can be avoided, but the damage dealt from these spells is still inflicted upon the hero. So tread lightly with this skill as it may keep you moving, but you have to do more if you wish to stay alive. Now let's look at the most unique rune called Intervene. This one works like a dashing strike where a monk can dash to any target on the screen and plant an inner sanctuary and a shield wherever he lands. The shield absorbs a lot of damage and its effectiveness is further increased by Monk's health globe bonus. If used by a skill player, it's a great rune for keeping allies alive, especially in hardcore mode where every bit counts. In softcore mode, it offers the longest dashing strike in game, so have fun zipping around. Time to move on to the fan favorite. Forbidden Palace rune for Inner Sanctuary increases the damage dealt to enemies standing in the circle by 30% whilst maintaining the 55% damage reduction on allies. This is the favored rune for killing tough elites and Rift Guardians that tend to be less mobile. Further adding other damage debuff from Crippling Wave, Mantra of Conviction really aid this rune and help Monk to dispatch foes in quick succession. All these runes offer unique gameplay mechanics, but their influence can be further extended by using the right arsenal of items. There are certain creative ways to achieve this, but let's cover the basics one first. A legendary spirit stone called Mind's Eye increases your spirit regen by up to 15 while standing inside the Inner Sanctuary. This item is excellent when used with skills such as Wave of Light, Explosive Light, Lashing Tail Kicks, Hand of Etar, and Deadly Reach Piercing Trident, as the item lets you deal sustained damage thanks to the spirit regeneration it offers. Next item is a Polearm Vigilance, which lets you summon a runeless Inner Sanctuary when being hit by an enemy. This Inner Sanctuary is on its own internal cooldown and can be shared in conjunction with your own Inner Sanctuary to create a perma damage reduction circle. This means that dealing sustained damage on higher difficulties becomes much easier, especially when using a combination of spirit generators. Next item is a 2-set bonus from the new Raymond set, as it complements the use of Inner Sanctuary by allowing you to deal more damage from generators while standing inside the circle. A similar advantage is offered by the new Spirit Guard bracers. Utilizing their damage reduction along with Inner Sanctuary enables a monk to have high toughness and play without Serenity altogether. To wrap up this section, Depth Diggers also give you increased damage when used with Inner Sanctuary, so this is another good addition to the skill. Finally, let's talk about the in-depth mechanics the skill offers to a wise monk. As stated on a number of occasions, this skill increases the toughness of a monk when standing inside the circle. So to follow a playstyle that benefits from this will be discussed now. A monk using this skill must use an AoE spell to deal burst damage to his surroundings. This means a wave of light is ideal as you can stand inside the circle and nuke enemies from a safe haven. Do be careful to not step out, as some of the skills like lashing tail kick will force you to do so. Instead, play like you've never played before, as a ranged monk that keeps enemies at bay while dealing tremendous amounts of AoE damage. A perfect example of this is the bell build featured on this video. This being said, playing with a spender is not the only way to maximize the skill's potential. Using combination strike, seized initiative and alacrity all benefit this skill when using a mix of spirit generators. You should always aim to debuff enemies with them and deal damage using the 2-piece Raymond set. Patch 2.2 will ensure that such playstyle is possible, and this skill will prove much more useful than it is now. In the end, Inner Sanctuary is a defensive skill that offers the highest protection in game and allows Monk to deal high damage over time. It is a great initiating skill that can be used to keep enemies at bay or to debuff them and deal elevated damage. Use it with skills that further enhance this playstyle and find your monk near unkillable in battle, even without that serenity. This has been the Holy Hermit for you, and this was our episode of Diablo 3 In Depth. Leave a like and share your feedback with the rest of us. Take care and remember to aim for the circle when both eyes are closed. After all, such is the zeal of a true marksman.